We are Spartacus.
Yeah.
Stig, you still got the link, Stig, if you want to come on. I was just telling Bernardo about you. So you've still got the link. You can still come on. I want to say apologies. Raging Rhino is streaming right now, and definitely don't want to take any of his viewers because I love Rhino. And
Who's Raging Rhino?
Raging Rhino. He rages about things he doesn't like, and he's a fun guy from Australia. I was in the chat talking, and then I realized, dadgummit. But it doesn't matter because we are Spartacus. This is the Gods Among Us, Gods of the Arena, excuse me. I don't know why I keep saying Gods Among Us. 6th episode. This will be a shorter one than last time, but still going to be great. I didn't know how fast we could watch these. We were talking about it like the night before. And I said, I don't know, dude. Maybe I can have them done by Friday. Last night, I told Bernardo, I said, I'm finishing it up right. And it was like midnight or something. But I was like, I'm binging this because it was so good. And it's such a, we've said this. You're going to hear me say this every season now. What a great show.
My feelings have changed from this season. So I still hate the thing I hate, but I misremembered a lot of it. Which is a good thing because Gannicus is definitely probably my favorite character. And just to start it off here, he did one thing that you didn't realize didn't exist in the first season, which was a showman. We didn't have a showman. We had Crixus, who was always looking for the validation of being a winner, but this guy was playing to the crowd. That's why he was awesome. And he was dang good. Like, his scenes are sick. But the first one's called Post-Regression Transgressions. I actually wrote the titles.
Thank you. Yeah, Past Transgressions. And Gannicus reminds me of a young Andre Agassi who used to play tennis back in the 80s and 90s. He had the long hair, the rock star. Gannicus is like your 80s rock star, heartthrob. And as they're here saying here on the chat here, yeah, he made the season.
100%.
100%.
I think Crixus acting though carried a lot of weight because
Crixus is great.
He went from like an okay actor to like, whoa, this guy's got range.
Yeah, everyone, of course. Again, all the acting here is so unbelievably awesome. And Stig, you still have the invite, by the way, to join if you want to join on. More than welcome to come on because I know Stig is watching it right now too.
Or if you throw comments or questions, we'll read them. Whatever. Yeah. You
want. But it begins through the dead eyes of Batiatus as he's lying on the floor from season 1, and kind of he's having his. I like to imagine his life is flashing before his eyes. There's certain scenes that are just awesome. When he's talking to, he and Selenius are friends in the past. We find out why they separated, but they just he drops trout just right there in the street market, that little outdoor stall. I was like, that's probably how they had it. That's probably how they had their latrines, but that's just kind of wild. And it's funny that when they were writing this, they thought, where should he be having this conversation? He should be on a toilet outside near the fairgrounds. I mean, that's so creative. Like, usually you just walk through the streets, you have the conversation. But no, let's have him drop trout and drop a deuce.
They want to show that they're not quite, they're kind of bottom barrel people, but they have some like connection.
They're common.
Yeah.
They're commoners at this point. That's a good point. See, I didn't think that, but that is a good point. Probably I did it. Now, the old stadium is there. It's smaller, it's tighter. I love that stadium. I love that smaller, just comfy little stadium there. But they all, and the new stadium is being built at this time. At the end, it'll be built. But it's amazing how they got all the characters to look younger.
That's literally the first line. They look young.
They look younger.
Them look younger. Like they.
This is before de-aging became a special effect.
Lucy or Lawless, freaking.
She looks younger.
I don't know how they did it. And Salonius looked younger too, which blew
Salonius, like Batiatus looks young. I mean, I was like, did he just dye his hair? But it's more than it feels like. It feels like their wrinkles are smoothed. It could be makeup, obviously, but either way,
it does. It wasn't too much. It was perfect.
Just looking at it, you can see everyone's younger. It's just amazing how they did that. Now, this is where he buys Crixus to get in good with Tullius. Once again, Batiatus doesn't see a fighter. He just sees a way to nudge in with Tullius, who is our villain in this season, and does a fantastic job. Someone else who does a fantastic job, Stieg.
Hi.
Hey!
Hello.
There's truly a god in this arena right now. Welcome, Stieg.
Oh. Ooh.
I'm super happy. Super rare appearance.
Oh.
Stieg, you were watching season 3 at this point, correct?
I have no. I'm about to start season 3, which is the 4th, kind of, because
4th. I'm sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Because this one is season 0.
Gotcha.
In a way, in a way, it is. Yeah. It's the prequel series. But we were just talking about
how young they look.
How young they look in this one, as opposed to the early one.
Yeah.
And that
this is makeup.
Yeah, it's makeup, but it looks pretty good.
Looks very good. It's impressive.
It's classic movie effects that look really well. Right now, Lucretia does not want to have sex with slaves. Ooh, she even makes a comment that is nasty, that's beneath me. But of course, we're going to see her turn to her perversion. We know where that perversion comes from. Her friend Gaia, who is a new character. Another new character that and this is the thing, with Gannicus and Gaia, we shouldn't be accepting of new characters, right? Because we saw the original core, and that's who we care about. Everyone, and it happens in like Stranger Things. There's the second tier kids that came in the second season, the redheaded girl. I'm sorry, you're a second tier.
Go ahead. They're expendable.
Yeah, but Gannicus does not feel that way.
He was
The only reason they did this season was because of Andy Whitfield getting sick.
Yeah, we should.
Gannicus wasn't supposed to be in the show at all, because Gannicus, historically, he was way before Spartacus.
Oh, was he? I thought he was with Spartacus at the time.
No, it was Spartacus and Oenomaus, and I think Crixus.
Crixus was in it too. I know. Yeah.
Yeah. And the house of Batiatus actually existed.
Yeah, we talked about that in the first one. That's very historically accurate. The whole series is, but this was what I heard. This was originally the plan to, at least part of the series was going to be in season 2. It was going to be like a prequel sequel. They're going to kind of show back and forth, kind of give you a little bit of both. But then when Andy Whitfield got sick, they said, hey, let's just break off this and make a mini season just to see if he got better. Spoilers, he did. Hey, did you see Stieg, I asked Bernardo this last time we did this. Did you see that Andy Whitfield biography where he's like videotaping his cancer?
It was tough.
That is a tough one to watch. If you do have a dry, no, if you have a dry eye after watching that, you're not human. It is one of the most. He's such a great guy. I mean, truly, just a loving human being. And this whole time, he is so positive during these. And what's heartbreaking is the last call he gets from the doctor, the call that's it. There is nothing else. And there's this like silence. He doesn't know what to do. And I'd be like, camera, stop rolling, go home, game over. But he wanted to keep going. And it was his wife that finally had them stop. They didn't release the last few months of footage. They just thought for the privacy of the family, but it was just sad. It was so sad. And we were saying with one Stig in the last episode, we were saying just Andy Whitfield had it. The acting was all in his eyes. The anger, the sadness, the loneliness, the yearning, everything, the shame. He could just his look. He could just exhibit so many emotions. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, oh, sorry.
I didn't know that. Did you read the comment? I didn't know
he got to pick the guy. I don't know if he got to pick him. I could be wrong on that, but I know that they asked I think it was a thing that said, "Hey, we're gonna," and he got oh my gosh, Liam McIntyre. I can't remember his name right now. Is Liam McIntyre got the Andy Whitfield gave him his blessing.
Wow, that's great.
To continue on.
This show is kind of like a perfect storm in a way, lightning in a bottle. Because if you look at all the actors in it, with the exception of Peter Mensah, none of them have really had any blossoming career after that.
No, it's so wild. And the thing is, in this show, they're all perfect. And even in this season, which I do commonly call season 2, Stig, as well, or season 0, but
prequel,
the prequel, when you usually add in new characters, I don't care about them, right? Because they weren't there for the original. They can maybe get a second tier heart. Gannicus does not seem second tier. He's right top tier already.
Like there was no delay on it.
But you get Gaia, you get the characters. Gaia is the version that leads down the path of what we see she's becoming too. But I'm jumping ahead. We're still talking about the first episode.
Well, I have some Spartacus news for you.
What's that?
They're doing a new show called House of Asher. It assumes Asher didn't croak in the show.
I love it. He looks great. I just saw the trailer recently again.
Oh, you did after doing this? You watched the trailer?
Well, it shows it when I watch it on Stars. It shows the trailer before each episode, and I'm like, wow, he literally looks like he did at the last episode of this.
Yeah, and
series.
What an actor! I mean, that's one of the most slimiest characters that ever has, that's been on screen. I mean, the guy is perfect.
And
even though he's a complete rat, you kind of cheer for him a little.
That's what we were saying earlier. Yeah,
I didn't cheer for him in this though. Like I was like, I don't remember that whole. And we'll get.
Oh, you didn't remember his plot? Well, okay.
Well, to be fair, Crixus did him dirty.
No, well, trying to throw an arrow to kill Gannicus though.
Now, hold on. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it. We're still on the first
slashing the leg.
Get wrecked, bro. He had to think fast, I guess. Yeah, I would have probably had to do the same thing. That's crazy.
Now, Bernard, you had mentioned something in our last episode about when we were talking about we're going to watch Gods Among Us, and you said the blindfold battle. You remember this from 5 years ago where Batiatus bragging says, you said any fighter blindfolded Batiatus, and he thinks he's got the upper hand. So Gannicus agrees to does it and has this awesome fight as he's blindfolded.
Drags his face into the sword, was like, oh my god. Oh, so
a
good.
different type of death.
This game? Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, not just that, but actually the prequel is more brutal than season 1, I think, in terms of kills. Especially Gannicus's last kill this season.
We'll get to that one. One.
but the fun thing is with one exception, when a character dies, they're dead. There's no doubt that they're dead.
That is completely true. We talked about the woman in season 1 getting her head smacked in. Steve, I had forgotten that you see her fractured skull with, I think it's brain, and then the eye. Yeah. I forgot about that.
I didn't remember the eye either. I wrote that down, actually.
Yeah, my sister used to quote that when we were playing board games, and she just went, "Stop laughing! Stop laughing!"
That's hilarious. I wanted to. Now I didn't have time because it's been kind of crazy here today around the house. But I wanted to play my favorite scene, and it's in season 1. It's in episode 1, and it's Gannicus singing the best song in the world. Blood rains down from an angry sky. My nephews are here. My nephews are here. But he said something rages on, and so that is, I used to have, remember you make mixtapes and mix CDs? I used to put movie quotes on my CDs when I make mix CDs. That was what opened up one of my favorite CDs was Gannicus. Blood rains down from an angry sky. This is great. You know
what you should do? Grab your wife's cell phone and have Gannicus say, that line about the raging on and stick it to her text message.
Actually, text message, or just kind of if I could get that thing to play in the morning for her alarm clock. That's the way we should all wake up.
Yeah,
that's the way we should wake up.
Well, you have enough kids now, don't you?
Yeah, right. They come in twos.
They come in twos. So good.
Yeah, and actions speak louder than words, right? So.
yes. But I'll show you a Ludus. Anyway, at the end of this episode, Tullius offers to buy Gannicus. Batiatus says no. He gets beat up and pissed on, and that's the end of episode 1. Thoughts? Yeah, a lot happens.
Not just beaten up though. They piss on him, and disrespect.
That was what I was hoping later that he did for the other guy, because he did it to one of them, but he didn't get the other guy like that. I wanted him to.
Yeah,
that's disrespectful.
There's one thing I've noticed. When the show gets pervy, right?
Yeah,
they do a lot of perversions. It's the Romans doing it, not the gladiators, because the gladiators get love scenes. So it's to show the decadence of ancient Rome.
Mm-hmm. Because they were debased.
They were anything goes. But when Crixus and Navia have a love scene, it's a love scene, love making. It's not what you see in the whorehouses or whatever with that the Romans are doing.
It's not just lust. Yeah, you're exactly right.
So except when he's with Creatia, right, or Lucretia.
Well,
it's kind of like
he's just doing his duty there.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, so the second episode is called Missio. Which
means forfeit. That's the forfeit symbol, because they called Missio when they did this.
Yeah,
I didn't know that till this.
Yeah. That I had that written down here too. The champions of Batiatus, the history is explained here. They're ragging on the recruits. The recruits are Crixus and Asher, and Asher's, is that his brother? Dagon? Is Dagon his brother?
No, I think it's like a battle brother. Yeah, battle brother.
Okay, clansman. Okay, got it. And of course, they're pissing in the porridge. You know,
Syrians are painted rather in a poor light in this show, like all of them.
I'm telling you, they're pissing your porridge. Crixus and Gannicus pull off a fight, and this is where it will eventually lead to Crixus getting branded before taking the test. So we don't see the test like we did with Spartacus in season 1. They just go straight into battle and get branded, which still doesn't solidify them with the rest of the clan. They're still pissing their porridge afterwards.
Shout out to Tamura Morrison in the prequel series. He is great.
Yes, that's the old Doctori.
Yeah.
I don't know his name.
He's a badass. When he wants to fight Onomaeus, he's like, present fucking sword. You know?
And the thing is,
awesome.
He's going out the old school way, because he's part of the old ways of his father. You're going to fight me like a man. You're going to win. I'm not going to walk away. I'm going to die in battle.
Syrians, he said Asher and them. They didn't deserve it.
And so while he's doing that, of course, Gannicus is doing something else. And they're kind of tying the two together, being forced to have done it. But at the end of the episode, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful line. Onomaeus is just torn up because he killed the Doctori who he loved. He respected and loved. And he tells his wife, he's almost in tears, I've done a terrible thing. But that should be her line. And I'd forgotten about that line. I've done a terrible thing. Like, he's torn up. That's beautiful.
Onomaeus is probably the most honorable character in the whole show.
By far.
He's kind of like one of the Knights of the Round Table almost.
He sticks to his principles.
And it's a year prior to him facing Theocles. I wrote that down too. Episode 1.
He's just recovered from
He hadn't returned to the arena and was immediately made Doctor. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Theophilus was no pushover because we saw him in season 1. That was
yeah, he's so cool.
That's straight out of a Conan comic.
Oh man. Oh man. The third episode is called Pater Families, I believe. We get to see Batiatus' dad, who again, new character introduced into the series, played it to perfection. Played the dad, because the thing is, from the dad's angle, you really understand where he's coming from. This is the thing. Like I told in the first stream we did, I told Bernardo, Stig, that in a way where Batiatus is getting mad at Spartacus for trying to betray him, well, in actuality, yeah, I bought you. I saved you from death as a slave. You disrespect me and all this stuff. And you can almost see it from Batiatus' point of view. And the series does a good job of showing where the dad is a little overbearing, but, well, the dad does have a point. You're kind of out of control right now.
Yeah, plus, we're talking about a time where slavery was 100% legal.
Yeah.
And if you grow up as a Roman during that time, that's all you've known. That's what the world is like, right?
They call it the zeitgeist of the times. Correct.
Yeah, I mean, conscience and feeling bad for the slaves and all that stuff. It's not even a factor, because it simply didn't work like that.
Right, and he kind of undoes everything that Batiatus has put together. He's wanting to reestablish order in the house again. Yeah. He feels it's fallen behind since his son screwed up. Meanwhile, Asher does, since he can't eat porridge, he eats birds, which I totally forgotten about that. Yes. What a great scene. What a great scene.
And go ahead. Kind of a bit of justice, even though he was being a complete shit about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You still know that he's just a weasel. You don't like him, but at the same time, that was a dirty, rotten down thing to do, but a funny scene. I mean, I was like, wow, I forgot about that. I like how Oenomaus doesn't think that he thinks the real reason Gannicus is avoiding his eyes and not really wanting to talk to him that much is because he's mad because he got Doctori. He doesn't realize, no, Gannicus is embarrassed because I kind of did your wife.
Yeah, I hate that scene. I think if they would have kept it there and kept it like she wasn't interested and did that, I would have been okay. I didn't like they low key had feelings for each other and the forbidden love. And
I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that toward the end. But we'll address that one.
But my favorite line comes from this episode. So Gannicus doesn't get to fight, and Crixus said he didn't earn it and he wants to be a gladiator. And Gannicus says, there are many things given to us in life for the wrong reason. What we do with such blessings, that is the true test of a man. I loved that. That was such a sick delivery. I was like, got me.
Yeah. The writing in this show, the lines and dialogue is almost Shakespearean with a heck of a lot of creative cuss words mixed in. So it basically comes off as crude, even though the writing is spectacular. Yeah, so it's like the dialogue is perverted deliberately.
Yeah,
and that reflects the times as well and what we're seeing.
Yeah, it's like in Deadwood, the guy who wrote Deadwood said, "Hey, I know they didn't cuss like that, but what they used to say was rootin' tootin', dang stang, whatever, great horny toads." They talked like Yosemite Sam. He said, but we had to make it more vulgar because they were vulgar men. They just didn't talk like the vulgarity back then would sound silly to us now, so they had to change it. But they did it so, and I like how you said Shakespearean, because the way they craft the words and the way they craft lines and when these characters say the line, like I'm so glad you wrote that quote down because I've written a few quotes down in the past. I'm thinking, what a great line. Like Steve, in the first season, I love when Spartacus, heals from his cut, his wound. He has just found out that Batiatus is responsible for killing his wife. And when Batiatus goes, Spartacus, you are well again. That warms the heart. And he turns and looks up at him and goes, I am myself, Doctor. Yeah, yes, Doctor. I am myself again. And that's all he says. I am myself again. And it's a double meaning, right? Because it means, oh, yeah, I'm back to my old self. No, I'm back to my old Thracian self who wants to kill every Roman.
You know what's
beautiful.
Fantastic, though? Every time Batiatus is pissed at someone and rants about the person to his wife, that's where you get glorious lines. Like, he's kissing me, but his hand reaches behind and the thumb, blah, 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 right? It's really creative.
I make path with words unseen, yet Salonius' finger is deep within their asshole. It's just, He said, how many times will Jupiter spread cheeks and insert cock? It's like, come on, get out of here.
Yeah, well, not just that. It's like, he's like, instead of fighting back, he forces me to spread cheeks for deeper ramming. It's really, it's really colorful.
It's very colorful, very creative, and it's supposed to make us laugh. It's supposed to make us laugh.
It's good.
Instead of just saying, I'm so screwed.
I think, Batiatus is a result of inspiration taken from Deadwood and Al Swearingen, because he has similar lines, but more old Western kind of thing. But they have the similar amount of cussing. I think Ian McShane in Deadwood said, block sucker.
I've never seen Deadwood.
And stuff 258 times in 3 seasons.
Deadwood is hard to get into at first, Bernardo, but I just watched it earlier this year for the first time ever, Deadwood.
Oh, and it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, my brother said you haven't. My cousin, it's one of his favorite ones ever.
Is it a violent show? Like what type of show? Is
it's an old Western based off real stories from Deadwood, North Dakota, and it's about how they're achieving statehood. But it's still the Wild West, even though slowly
like
through
bounty
the
hunting
episodes,
type Wild West.
No, it's just imagine. I hate to say it this way because it's not a comedy, but it's like Seinfeld. It's a show about nothing. They're just going through the everyday life. There's not even. There are some overall story arcs, but you don't care about. I just care about a regular day in Deadwood, and the show's brilliant. The show's very brilliant, and sadly, the ending. Go ahead.
And the acting is an 11 out of 10 because they have Brad Dourif is in there playing the doctor, right, and all kinds of famous people, and would you agree, Wilkins, if I said it's Seinfeld mixed with Sopranos set in the Old West?
That sounds cool. I gotta watch that. I think he's chatting with some fame.
Sorry, I'm sorry. It's insane here. But go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying that. Would you agree if I said Deadwood was Sopranos mixed with Seinfeld set in the Old West?
Yeah, Seinfeld only. There is comedy in it, but it's really a show about just In fact, I loved it when nothing happened. I loved seeing these characters so much. So, but anyway, we'll stay on target here. Back to Spartacus. This is where Crixus has his first official match in the arena
and win.
It is excellent.
It's an excellent match. And I think one thing that I love about his acting, and I think it's where his range came from, was he fights and acts like an animal, almost like he's like there's something psychologically wrong with him, like he's a little off and just kind of an animal, like a true barbarian. He plays it so well, and his just like when he's reaching to the crowd, it's like his mind is like an ape.
He
so crazy.
He gets high.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like he's getting a heroin shot almost.
Yeah. He kills it so much. I questioned his acting in the first season. It was fine. He had his part, but it wasn't about him. In this one, he had so many different layers, from worthlessness to trying to achieve his own version of absolution. Was just
he shines in in this season and season 2, but then I thought his performance dips a bit in season 3.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Anyway, so he kills Barca's boyfriend, and then also you have Asher's match, which he's great. He's terrified of dying. His Klansman saves him, and then of course he does the big afterwards kill that you can see Asher was never deserving. He was never. He's just a faker.
He helped him grab the dude to pee back on the guy, which happened in episode 2. So Pete Onvaro, like that's why he branded him. He was like he did his sleazy thing for him. So
even though Asher was just finishing off injured people, though, the kills were still pretty good.
Oh no, they were great. No, I love the fights. I love those opening fights. We were just talking, Steve, before you came on. That smaller arena, I loved it. It felt more intimate, and that was it. Didn't feel
more down and dirty and less official.
Yeah,
and the flame tying them in there made it even tighter in the big arena, which was crazy. But
and the last one, we'll get there. So the dad decides he's going to stay. Batiatus is crushed. We move on to the next episode, Beneath the Mask. Yeah, Beneath the Mask. The dad talks to Batiatus about reputation and what it means and how important it is. I love that speech. Again, we talked about how well this is written, but Steve, we were talking about this in the last stream. There is no moment where you need to pick up your phone or go get something real quick. Some of these TV shows. When it's these two characters, I don't care, and you go off and get something to eat or go to the bathroom. No, there's not a moment that you can do, or that I have to put down my phone and watch the whole thing. There's not a moment where I can check something while having it run in the background, because I am, even on small scenes like this, I am enthralled because his dad is great at his job, and that's the thing that I wrote down is like, I can't believe new introductory characters mean so much. Like Tullius. Great villain.
Hated him. I wanted to
he's great at what he does.
Question: is this your very first time watching this, Wilkins?
No, this is my second, and Bernardo, it may be my third. I think it may be my third time. It is his second, and I thought it was my second too. But now that I'm looking at it, I said, I can't remember this well from 10 years ago. Or 12 years. I saw the show the moment it ended. My buddy got them for me all on DVD, and I watched them because he had bought them. And so I watched them like a year after it had been over. But how could I remember stuff that was over 10 years ago so well? So I think I may have watched it again. I haven't asked Bruce, but I think we may have watched it again the past 5, 10 years, 6 years ago, maybe, because I still remember some of this stuff pretty well.
A little off-topic question, though. Have the two of you seen Black Sails?
No, that's the pirate show on Starz. My brother has. He's a huge fan. Do you like it?
It's a 10 out of 10.
Okay, done.
Pirate show. I'm all about that. That's crazy.
My brother. It came out the same time as Spartacus, right?
Yes, I was watching, a new episode of both every week. But the thing about Black Sails is that it's the prequel to the old Treasure Island novel.
Oh,
so
it's
it's about the pirates who get the treasure and stuff. So the series doesn't really have an ending. It has some endings, right? But there's this thread that's left open. What happens to the treasure, right? But the 1990 Treasure Island movie is what you finish it off with, because it has Charlton Heston, Christian Bale, Christopher Lee.
Oh, really? Reed. So it leads into the movie that came out before it.
No, it leads into the novel, but that movie follows the novel to a T.
That's nice.
That's good to know.
Yeah,
I love that they did that. No, my brother, when I was telling him about Spartacus, he went, "You need to watch Black Sails." I remember he told me that. So that's done. That's done. That's next on the list.
I like pirates.
Guaranteed. That's done. Maybe we'll do one about that.
This is gritty pirates. It's Spartacus-ish.
Yeah. No, that's what he was saying.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
And again, everyone does a 10 out of 10 acting in it.
Awesome. I believe you. So that'll be the next one. Now, getting to this and Beneath the Mask, this is where you start talking about, I don't like Gannigan starts feeling for her and she thinks of him when she's with her husband. I don't, what's it say?
Gannigan's confessing feelings, wife, hate it.
Yeah. I did not like that because probably because Onomaeus is such an honorable character, like Stieg said, and I feel like if he's going to honor his wife like he did in season 1, obviously he never found out at that time. But the thing is, I feel like his wife should have remained true.
Agreed.
And
that's what I was feeling. Like, I get the Gannicus having feelings part, sure, but her connection, it didn't elevate the story at all. It did no value to the story.
And I agree. Go ahead.
Well, they did it to set up a drama in season 2.
Season 2, yes. Yeah. I know. But the thing is, though, if it was Gannicus having the love, and I'll explain this when we get to the last episode, that he's kind of shallow when it comes to those matters, right? He loves everybody. He shares his love freely. I would say his cock rage is on.
Well, but he is shallow, but he goes deep.
I love it. Witty, sir.
So Gannicus was asked to lose in this. So I wrote 3 points. So Gannicus was asked to lose against fighting, was it Tullius? Was that who he was?
Tullius, yeah. Because this is where they have the wild party. Well, now he can't hurt a Roman.
Oh, I know he would hurt the status. I wanted him dead at that point.
I hate it too. But it makes you hate Tullius even more. In fact, he leaves his message with Gaia, and of course she's dead too. And it just shows. I love it because
I didn't.
I love it because it ramps up his. I mean, he's already the bad guy, but you just hate him even more now, right? And the thing is, here's the funny thing that I made a note of. Aren't we supposed to hate Batiatus? But we don't. We hate Tullius, and it's just like I love that they went. Even though you hate,
he loves
that in season 1, you hate those people. But now you're cheering for them. But that just shows you how grounded they are in their character, how true they are to their character, how you can see their perspective on things, and how brilliantly, not only is the show written, but how it is performed, how an actor chooses to perform and read those lines and say those lines. And Stieg, earlier, we were talking about how Lucy Lawless, who should be called Lucy Flawless in this show, because holy crow, what she does in a look at times is just this is the pinnacle of her acting. It is
me watching Xena was like, I don't know who this Xena girl is, but I like her more.
She
incredible.
Was awesome on Ash versus Evil Dead as well.
I saw that. I saw that she was in it, and I never finished that show. That's on my list of.
She's awesome. Fun. It's fun.
I loved it. I loved it. Yeah.
The ending was perfect.
Yeah. Unpraised villain though in this show is I forget his name, but the
young kid.
The Roman. No. It's the Roman that looks like he's had plastic surgery.
Oh yeah, the creepy guy with the eyes and the. Yeah. Whose perverters all get it.
That line was crazy when he picked out the nastiest freaking gladiator for this young virgin this get on because
and he's explaining it.
Create the silhouette and explain that beauty and disgust and grotesque are supposed to live as one. And it was like, oh my god, what a fucking sick person.
That guy would be on an FBI watch list.
Dude, but you're right, just despicable. You hate the Roman.
He look like a cartoon character though with that
even
face.
For a Roman though. Even for the pervy Romans, he's out there.
Yeah.
He's levels worse.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's but it's at the end of this. I also love that Batiatus has taken his father away, but his father knows this is all set up, but he thinks it's so they can connect again.
Yeah, because Batiatus' dad is actually a good man. He's a decent human being, really.
And I really love that scene, and I really wanted that to be true. I really wanted that to be true because in my heart I was like, "Wow, that's great." But of course, when he comes home, he sees of what happened. He that the Gaia died on his turf. He tells his son, you divorce her. You need to separate. You need to separate from her. So he said, are you annulling my marriage? She went, no, son, you are. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Like, I'm not going to do anything. You're a man. You're going to do it. So another good episode. Oh, go ahead.
And that leads to some seriously good Lucy Lawless development in the next few episodes. And the thing is, it was subtly done at first.
Yes.
Yes. Her plan.
Her plan was subtly. She'll reveal it in the bitter end. But Reckoning is the next episode, and there's a great scene I'd forgotten about. And I know what I thought the first time I saw it, but where his wife, what are you doing? Is it
lust between Gannicus and his wife? Hate it.
Lust be okay. But when she dreams that Oenomaus kills Gannicus, I was like, oh, I bet I thought. See, because I remember watching this for the first time and thinking, well, Gannicus has to die since he's not in the show. And I thought, oh, that's how he died. But then it was just a dream. You have your buddy. Meanwhile, you have your buddy. Oh, this is the first. Lucretia sleeps with Crixus because she wants a son. She's trying to save him because she overheard the father saying, you must divorce. So she's saying, well, if I bear a son, maybe, she's thinking if I bear a son. And I love this. We don't need dialogue in what she was thinking. We just know that she needs a son really quick. Mm-hmm. She's trying to get in good back with her dad.
She didn't really like him in the beginning of all that.
But they never had to spoon feed us as an audience to say, hey, Lucretia's having sex with him because she really wants to have a boy or a kid so that the dad can love her too. No. Or that Batiasis will love her and not divorce her. No. They just went with the story, and we get it because we're a smart audience and it's smart writing. And I just absolutely love that we didn't have to be spoon-fed what was going on at the time.
Oh, Black Sails is full of stuff like this, actually. But this show came out at a time where Hollywood didn't feel they needed to dumb everything down. Right?
It really is smart writing. I agree with you. Yeah. But Stieg, very few shows, and I know you agree with me on this, very few shows do that today. We feel like we have to explain everything. Movies especially.
There's so much tight scripting in scenes in every episode that they'll drag a stupid plot line for episode.
I can point to tons of shows that I like and watch that have those boring drawn out. We're just trying to make time to make an episode. That's all it is stretching out scenes. There is none of that.
You know what? Because I've studied writing and I have written stuff. If you can explain to the reader and make it crystal clear as well, who, how, and why. If you can do that all the time, you've written a solid product. In everything today that gets bashed for being, poorly written, they always screw up the how, because they hand wave it away with, oh, the Force did it, or it's magic, or whatever. That's where all the problems are. Like, how can Luke Skywalker die from a Force overdose when you don't, drink the Force, you guide it? It's impossible, right? It's always the how,
Yeah, and it's so much smarter than what I gave it credit for back. I mean, I loved it. It was all right. Like, I sent him a text. I told this in the last stream. I sent him a text. I said, I already love this show, but it's better than I remember. And I already knew it was one of my favorite shows of all time. This is also where Asher is dirty, cheating, taking out his brother's eye. That was brutal. But he needs the win, so he's doing. But it's a way that Asher can just stay alive in the game.
First slow motion blood hit as well.
Yeah, and it's also sheer desperation that's driving him, because he is always, almost all through the show, on the verge of being killed.
He's a weak link, and he is
balancing on a line all through the show, and all kinds of crap keeps happening around him that puts the spotlight on him for a little bit, and he has to do something dirty to get out of it.
And I think how this works is we kind of all know that guy. We've known that guy in our past life. We know that guy who is just skating by. He is so desperate to do anything. He brags about things he didn't really do that well or that someone else did. He takes credit. We've seen this guy. We know this guy. And that the writer said, hey, let's grab this character, this guy that everyone can, they all know a guy like this, and let's put him in there. It's brilliant. Again, Asher's just such a great character. But I want to go in to Batiatus. It's showing how we find out that Lucretia was beneath his what is it, tier or whatever. And the dad's always like, know your place. The dad's not about, if someone is in higher tier than him, he respects that tier. But if you're lower than him, he hates you. And she was like a street rat, obviously, that was beneath Batiatus' guard. And so that's why we find out, and that's very interesting, that Batiatus, and this is where he has a heart, he truly loves Lucretia. And, he has his own version of love. Go ahead.
When I was watching, because I've been rewatching it. I didn't know you guys were watching it, so we've been doing the same thing. And I have one season left. But what struck me when I was watching it, the Asher actor. If Disney had done it right with Star Wars, that there is Borsk-Phalia.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Perfect.
You're right. It's a perfect example. Yeah, I agree with that.
Well,
I agree 100%.
He could have played him.
Oh, played him? Oh,
yes.
dude, would have been awesome.
I still think Gannicus could have played a Hercules of some sort in a movie.
Yes.
He would have been a great Hercules.
A lot of these actors could have gone on to do. I mean, and I'm not just blowing smoke here. I really do think the actors are just bar none. The acting is just off the top. And Stig, we talked about this in the last stream, but usually in some of these shows, you can find the 1 weak link, right? The one person just, they're like Asher. They're acting skating by, or the writing isn't strong enough. But you can't find that in this.
I have one for season 1.
I'm all ears.
Barca?
Glaber.
Oh. I love to hate Glauber.
Well, he's a great character, but the acting.
Oh, really?
He's kind of a stiff, I guess. He doesn't really get much of a line except to look like a dick. That was kind of his purpose, to be honest.
Huh? Interesting. Okay. I mean, that's fine.
But he just needed to sit there silent. He just looked like he had a punchable face naturally.
But he is way better in season 2.
Yeah, I remember that much.
Steps it up. Well,
I was so ready for him to die. Oh my god.
Oh, okay. You're way getting ahead now. Okay, so anyway, Batial just chooses his wife. He tells the dad that. But how do you like where he picks up the wooden block, and you think he's going to kill his dad, and he goes, "A souvenir of old times." But he just can't, because even though he rages and whines about his dad, he doesn't want to kill him. him. And
there's symbolism there, though, because it shows you that Batiatus doesn't function without Lucretia. He needs her to be whole.
Oh, yeah, she was definitely the puppet master.
She's the one who does the dirty.
Exactly.
When he can't.
And again, I want to talk about that because I have a great note that I want to give on that one. But so the girl slave who'd been kind of the toy of all the Romans, the other girl, I can't remember her name right now, helps her escape during all this ruckus going on, the battles, the internal ludus battle. And I forgot about that ending, but so she gets away, which will come into the very next episode. That whole story will come back. Gannicus, and this is why I almost loved the show, because I'd forgotten whether you were thinking, oh, his wife does love him, but when his Gannicus kind of gives up with Crixus, he lowers his guard. Why? Because he doesn't feel that his love is reciprocated, and so he defeats. And I thought, because I forgot, and I was like, oh, so she cares for him as a friend, but not as a lover. And I thought, oh, that's good then. But then, of course, She comes in there that night and wants to say, I say, oh, you ruined it right there. That's
I'm glad nothing actually happened and she just died.
Well, again, I had forgotten about the poison wine. And of course, how she starts. And this is where.
That's all I did remember. I just didn't remember.
This is where, Lucretia really shines.
The honey wine.
Because he goes, certainly you aren't as, what did he say, aren't as wicked? Or no, it wasn't wicked. It was you're not as cruel as I think you are, or crude, or what was the line? Do you remember? And she goes, oh no, I am. And then she starts revealing that she's been poisoning the wine to get him to leave, but then had to step it up when she said, okay, you're not leaving me alone. And she will do anything to keep Batiatus, the house, alive. And she loves her husband, and and you're holding him back. I mean, and here's the thing, and Steve knows this too. We're always talking about, what's the definition of what a strong woman is? A strong woman doesn't always have to be Ripley from Aliens, which seems to be the mantle for everyone right now. A strong woman, look at Lucretia. Look at her. She is scary good. Is she physically strong? No.
Smart. She's just smart.
She's so smart. We saw her manipulate Ilithia in season 1. Go from friend to kind of beggar to then get the upper hand on him, and just master manipulator. And that is a strong woman. And we see how, we see where the kind of spine of Batiatus is drawn with his wife supporting him, but she is equally as strong and mistress of the house. And so the definition of a strong woman today is we got to have the guns toting. We got to be the kickboxing awesome. I can beat anyone in battle. No, we need to have a badass like Lucretia that can just out. Go ahead.
She is basically a perfect mix of determination and adaptability, because she changes her plans immediately once the circumstances changes. She's like a move ahead.
Yep. She you're right. She pivots when she sees the opportunity slipping by her. It looks like she could be thrown the road. She starts moving in different directions, tries to get a baby going, tries to get this. I mean, she moves all pieces in play. It's like a Thrawn. It's like a Thrawn from Star Wars. But the thing is, though, no one. If someone could watch it, that's not really powerful. That is a very powerful woman. There's more than just brute strength. There's nothing that needed to die. I don't need to see Lucretia, karate kicking guards and gladiators and all. I don't need to see that, because she's so good.
Like the chess pieces.
She should be chess pieces. They should defeat themselves. Yeah. She's outmaneuver them, everything.
She's kind of a female Palpatine.
Yeah, she is. Now,
behind the scenes.
That's the reference.
I see my brother Soul Assassin here saying that Asher, didn't he get his brother, boned by Roman?
Yes.
Which was earlier. I forgot to mention that. How did I forget to mention that?
Oh, yeah, that was so rotten. And he told the Roman that his brother liked it rough.
Yes.
And all that, just to make it worse. I mean, what I was
what a dirty guy.
I was clapping when
I was too.
It was just so thoroughly shitty.
It's Asher.
Yeah. But the guy deserved it a bit too.
He's a little bit of a jerk anyway, but But it's again showing Asher's character, which I think is just great.
I don't know how he's going to maneuver a house. Like, he's too smart to be owning. I'm excited. But moving on to the end of this episode.
Side note: there's 2 shows coming. There's talk of the Caesar show as a direct follow-up to Spartacus with the Caesar.
Is it
actor.
the same guy playing him?
Yeah, I think so.
I would watch that.
I would too, but the sex scene I remember from that season still grosses me the hell out.
I don't remember it yet, so
I remember that
when Caesar couldn't sit on the horse today.
Foul, bro. Yeah, foul. Hated that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was hard to watch. That was up there with like 13 Reasons Why. If you watch that, where they get
okay. So did you have anything else to say about this episode, Bernardo, before we moved on?
Oh yeah, the Lucretia's poison. So he poisoned the father, but then Onomaus's wife dies too. Thank God, as I wrote there too, because forbidden love can eat it. And now we're at bitter end. The bitter end is 6.
The bitter end. What a great name. Batiatus does not know that his wife killed his dad. That's not revealed. She keeps that secret. Oh, go ahead.
Symbolism there too, because the wine was fruit wine.
Mm-hmm. Honey wine.
Honey wine.
I thought it was,
it's a sweeter wine, but I get what you're saying there, but
No, well, it was supposed to be, killed by forbidden fruit. I saw the director or something said something about that.
Oh, really? That analogy? That's great. Yeah. So everything moves into play. Selenius now becomes the villain by stealing the ludus out from Batiatus's big plan.
He deserved it, though. To be fair, Batiatus was a dick, and
I agree.
Diminish his character the entire time.
I love how Tullius is buried inside the Colosseum. Yeah, that is great. You don't need just gruesome deaths. That is just because they stab him a lot because they're all mad. But then he's still alive.
They stabbed him in the stomach. He's going to take a long time to die.
That was the last thing they missed.
The piss maybe, but they stabbed him in the stomach. You're right. A slow death. Put him in the rock while he's still alive and buried him inside the Colosseum. I thought that was beautiful. Way to kill off it's satisfying deaths, right? And then that escaped slave girl actually just got picked up that morning, and she dies. I totally forgotten that. Forgotten that she died in
display.
Yes. In front of the opening ceremony is her and 3 other escaped slaves' deaths. The final battle, the Ring of Fire, the dude with the flaming net. I thought that was so good. There's so many good battles back and forth. Of course, Asher is going to betray and turn on Dagon. This is where we see Crixus said it was my sword that led to your broken leg, and we see the action happen as he breaks.
We see him get a kill too. Asher gets a really sick slow motion blood hit in this.
Asher gets a hit too. And then, of course, the death, Gannicus taking the spear, snapping it off in the same movement, shoving it right in his jaw. And if that wasn't good enough, the click. And then this is the most disgusting. I love it. But the jaw splits in 2, comes, and we get to see. I had totally forgotten that. How many people thought that spear was just going to go to the back through his neck? Because that's usually what you're going to do, right? That's a classic kill.
That was it.
But no, man, this is Spartacus. We got to go a little bit gorier, and I loved it. Go ahead, Steve. What are you going to say?
Well, it was jaw dropping, but it was the
stop.
The thing about some of the most gruesome Spartacus kills is they're always in slow motion, and you see the killer scream or whatever while getting sprayed by blood, or there's some lady up in the arena flashing her tits and getting sprayed by the blood. That's also a thing in slow motion.
In slow motion.
It's like they go all in.
But I distinctly remember the 2 seasons after was like almost no slow motion fighting, and I hated that. So my opinion will likely change. But
okay, but Steve, I do recall there's one bare-breasted woman going like this, going, and they splashed the slash of blood. Do y'all remember it? Because I remember it was on her teeth. It was on her teeth. And just getting hit with that. I was like, dang. I just love it.
Yeah, because it's so over the top that it's no longer lewd. It's fun.
Yeah, it's stylistic is what we called it in the first one.
Yeah.
And we get it. I mean, in some ways you could say, oh, that's corny, or oh, that's bad CGI. But the thing is, it's very stylish, especially, and Steve, we talked about this in the first stream, but how it kind of goes, when they slash him in the back or stab him with the spear, and it kind of goes into the motion comic as they're still moving this way, and the blood, paper. I love that style.
They need to bring that back in something because it's
brilliant. the look of Spartacus is just barred. Even we were talking about the cheesy green screens in the first season,
great,
but I loved them. Yeah, it made on Emmaus kind of with the background. He's walking background as they're all fighting in the background. I love that.
Yeah,
imagery.
It makes it slightly comic book-ish, but what struck me is the show is like way more R-rated than 300, but it's like 300 with a lower budget.
No, it really did.
I agree.
I rewatched 300 like 2 years ago, and I was like, man, this was a lot more anticlimactic than I remember. It felt kind of light compared to like this and the other stuff later.
But it looks like Spartacus.
It looks like
it's the same team, I think, right?
It has.
Yeah,
no,
I think so.
No, it wasn't the people that brought 300.
That's Zack Snyder. That's Zack Snyder and his
group. No, the people who did the effects. And
the effect. Okay. Yeah.
Possibly so. Because I was in the advertising.
It doesn't have the depth. It has the action, but it doesn't have the depth to the characters like we remember in Spartacus. Anyway, Gannicus wins his freedom, of course, because this is the very first one. It's a trick to jab. Solenius does that to just hurt Batiatus, and of course, he's going to lose his best fighter. He offers to, be a free man, let him come and go as he wishes, just to fight for the house. But his heart is broken, of course. He gives his necklace to Crixus. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, that's where Crixus get his necklace. I didn't remember that. Batiatus even says, he's just so sick of this. I don't want him mentioned. I want him scrapped to the house. That's why we don't hear about him in season 1. They kind of have to do that. But that makes sense, right? Because he's like, I don't even want. This whole thing was a bad day for me. Let us never mention it again. I get that. That actually makes sense. Go ahead.
Also, a good way to subvert expectations, because, like you said earlier, you expected Gannicus to die because he's not.
I expected Gannicus to die because he's not mentioned. You're exactly right.
And as a side note, out of all the gladiators in the show, Gannicus is the best one.
Oh yeah, he's so good.
He never gets badly beaten at all, or even beaten.
He gets the illest death.
Yeah,
because even when he lost to Crixus, it's because he gave up.
Yeah,
you're correct.
He was just distracted,
and he saved him. He saved him with the shield, and then freaking he cuts Asher in the leg, of course, because Asher's trying to throw a spear to take him out to try to beat the champion. I was like, bro, kid him. We ain't doing that.
Now, the thing, it ends with us pulling out of Batiatus' eye, and it's back to him and Lucretia kind of holding hands as they're dead.
You can see she's more alive than he is.
Okay, so here's the thing. I missed that. The first time I watched this, I was pissed when she was alive. I went, no, they killed her off. But if you do watch as it's pulling away before it goes dark, her hand starts to move. It was so slight that if you're not looking at it, you miss it. I missed it. And I've always missed that scene until this watching. I saw her hand start to move. I was like, whoa, wait, that was supposed to be there for the keen eye fans. They didn't do a Stig today. They would do a thing where they do a close up on her and have her eyes open, to tell the stupid fans. But here,
thing was,
if you blink, you're going to miss that hand moving. I loved it. Go ahead.
And they also made sure to have a character nearby who could save her. Which was Asher, because he's the one who fixes her up.
Right, right.
So, not a hint of a plot hole there. Nothing. It was solid.
It all comes together, and it's so brilliant. And I'm so embarrassed I never saw that. But again, they weren't going to spoon feed the audience. You had to be a keen eye watching as it's backing away, because just seconds before it closes, her hand starts to move. To show you that she's still alive. And she's still alive. Crixus didn't kill her. He killed the baby in the womb. And you forgot. You forgot about that. It's such a brilliant show. And again, Gods of the Arena, excellent. Excellent.
Gannicus, excellent.
Yes.
I would have wanted 2 more episodes in it to flesh out a little bit more, because Gannicus actually isn't that fleshed out. he is
not as
like,
much. You're right.
Yeah,
He's just a
this is how he
showman that
fights.
people
This
like.
is
That's it. Yeah.
yeah, but
We don't know shit about him. Right.
it would have been if we had one episode of him where we get to hear his background, where he's from, and you know, stuff like that, and maybe
That's fair. Why he's
maybe
even that good? Probably start
yeah.
there.
And I would have liked to have had an episode between the second last and the last one,
Yeah.
just to build up.
Yeah, I hear you.
The
But-
disconnect is the father was running the place for a while, and he
Yeah.
didn't know anything about Gannicus because he doesn't understand why he would want to keep him. He is this champion. So it makes me think that, you know, Batiatus was there making him who he was. And I agree with you. I wish we could see like where that turning point was, because Anameus didn't train him.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking Gannicus hadn't been there for a long time, which means his fighting skills are simply due to him having been a warrior and a kick-ass one before he got captured. And I think Gannicus historically is from England. Because the Romans went there too.
That's true. That's true. I didn't think about that, where he was from. No, don't they say he's Irish? Don't they say he's Irish? I think they say he's Irish.
They wouldn't, because it's not even called Ireland.
Well, I think I heard that in the show. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but either way, I did enjoy this one. I can't wait. I've already started on the official season 2. Vengeance, of course, is next, so we'll go over that one.
Vengeance is
and
awesome.
Well,
I'm excited.
Stig, you're going to be invited back because this is very good and helpful input. But we're gonna end it there, and so come back next week. We're going to talk about Vengeance. It's going to be fantastic. I'm so happy to be watching this again.
Same.
And fellas, thank you so much for joining.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, folks. Well, we will see you next week with more Spartacus.
We will be back with a vengeance.